Hare Krishna, dear devotees, let us chant one round of Japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let us recite Bhagavad Gita Shloka. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, text 6. Yes. Does anyone need to go first? If not, we'll just go in order. Achit Priya Mataji, you can start.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavata Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Brahmana, all glories to assembled Matris.
Dandavata Pranam Mataji, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
न तद्भाष्यते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Translation for the King Basic Translation. That supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
न तत्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Neelambari Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Dandavata Pranam Mataji, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Na tadbhashyate shurya, na shashanka na pavaka, yat katva na nivartante, tathama paramam mama. The supreme personality, the supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavata Pranam Mataji, all glories to Sri Prabhupada.
न तद् भाषयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद् धाम paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, text 6. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2. We have to begin Chapter 2. We completed Chapter 1. Well, this is Krishna book. So let's go to Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the chapter 1 ended with Kamsa arresting Vasudeva and Devaki, killing the first baby, and also it is said there that he went on killing all the babies one after another that were born of Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison. So that was the end of chapter 1. Now we have to begin chapter 2. So this is the last verse of chapter 1, which says, Kamsa, the most powerful son of Ugrasena, even imprisoned his own father. Yes, not only did he imprison Vasudeva and Devaki, he also imprisoned his own father Ugrasen, the king of the Yadu, Bhoja and Andhaka dynasties. Why he imprisoned Ugrasen? Because Ugrasen Maharaj was the king for all these dynasties. By imprisoning him, he himself, Kamsa himself, became the next ruler of all these dynasties. And also he arrested Vasudev. Vasudev is the son of Shurasena, so he took over the states of Shurasena also. So he became the uh, king there for all these dynasties, he himself, by force. What he did after that, we will see. I'll just read the summary of the chapter and then we'll start reading. Chapter 2, Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. As described in this chapter, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead entered the womb of Devaki to kill Kamsa, all the demigods understood that the Lord was living within Devaki's womb, and therefore, in veneration, they offered him the Garbhastuti prayers. So that is in a nutshell, the topic of this second chapter. The demigods offering prayers to Krishna in the womb. So Kamsa, under the protection of his father-in-law Jarasandha, and with the help of his demoniac friends like Pralamba, Baka, Chanura, Trinavarta, Aghasura, Mushtika, Bana, and Bhaumasura, began oppressing the members of the Yadu dynasty. Therefore, the members of the Yadu dynasty left their homes and sought shelter in such states as Kuru, Panchala, Kekaya, Shalva, and Vidarbha. Only some of them stayed with Kamsa as nominal friends. After Kamsa killed the Shad Garbhas, the 6 sons of Devaki, one after another, Anantadev entered Devaki's womb and was transferred to the womb of Rohini by the manipulation of Yogamaya, who was following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord himself was soon to appear. Excuse me. Okay. After Kamsa killed the Shad Garbhas, the 6 sons of Devaki, one after another, Anantadev entered the womb and was transferred to the womb of Rohini by the manipulation of Yogamaya, who was following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord himself, who was soon to appear as the 8th son of Devaki, ordered Yogamaya to take birth from the womb of Yashoda Devi. Because Krishna and his potency Yogamaya appeared simultaneously as brother and sister, the world is full of Vaishnavas and Shaktas, and there is certainly some rivalry between them. Vaishnavas worship the Supreme Lord, whereas Shaktas, according to their desires, worship Yogamaya in forms like Durga, Bhadrakali, and Chandika. Following the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yogamaya transferred Baladev, Sankarshan, the 7th child of Devaki, from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Because Sankarshan appears in order to increase love of Krishna, he is known as Baladev. Interesting, huh? Because Sankarshan appears, because you would think Baladev means one who has strength. But what is that strength? Are we talking of physical strength here? So that will come later. Because Sankarshan appears in order to increase love of Krishna, he is known as Baladev. One may take auspicious strength from him to become a devotee of the Lord, and therefore he is also known as Balabhadra. After Yogamaya transferred the 7th child of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared within the heart of Vasudeva and transferred himself into the heart of Devaki. Because the Lord was present in her heart, Devaki, as her pregnancy continued, appeared effulgent. Upon seeing this effulgence, Kamsa was full of anxiety, but he could not harm Devaki because of their family relationship. Thus he began indirectly thinking of Krishna and became fully Krishna conscious. Meanwhile, because of the Lord's presence within the womb of Devaki, all the demigods came to offer the Lord their prayers. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, they said, is eternally the absolute truth. The spiritual soul is more important than the gross body, and the super soul, Paramatma, is still more important than the soul. The Supreme Godhead is absolutely independent, and his incarnations are transcendental. The prayers of the demigods glorify and exalt devotees and explain the fate of persons who superficially consider themselves liberated from the conditions of material nature. A devotee is always safe. When a devotee fully surrenders at the lotus feet of the Lord, he is completely liberated from the fear of material existence. By explaining why the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, the prayers of the demigods clearly confirm the Lord's statement in Bhagavad Gita 4:7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Texts 1 and 2. So we'll just begin in order. Achyut Priya Mataji. I'll just read the Sanskrit. Sri Shuka Uvacha Pralambabaka Chanura Trinavarta Mahashanaihi Mushtikarishta Dvivida Putana Keshi Dhenukaihi Anyaishchasura Bhupalair Bana Bhaumadi Yadunam Kadanam Chakre Bali Magada Samshrayaha. Yes, Mataji.
Translation. Sukadev Goswami said, under the protection of Magadharja, Jarasandha, the powerful Kamsa, began persecuting the kings of the Yadu dynasty. In this, he had the cooperation of demons like Pralamba, Baka, Chanura, Trinavarta, Agasura, Mustika, Arishta, Divida, Dvivida, Putana, Kesi, Denuka, Banasura, Narkasura, and many other demonic kings on the surface of the purport also Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Purport, Isha. You'll read purport? No? Okay, so the next person. Sonia Mataji, will you read? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Oh, sorry, purport. So you have to read.
That's okay, Mataji. You can recite the slokas.
No. Go ahead. This you can recite also. Bhagavad Gita. This verse supports.
This verse supports the following statement given by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 4.7 and 8. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya siddhatmana srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadduskritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreant, as well as to re-establish the principle of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. Should I continue, Mataji?
Yes.
The Lord's purpose in maintaining this material world is to give everyone a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. But kings and political leaders unfortunately try to hinder the purpose of Lord, and therefore the Lord appears either personally or with his plenary portions to set things right. It is therefore said, Garbham Mataji, can you recite for this?
Garbham sancharya rohinyam devakya yoga mayaya tasyah kukshim gatah krishno dvitiyo vibudhaistutaha.
Krishna appeared in the womb of Devaki after transferring Baldeva to the womb of Rohini by the power of Yogmaya. Yud, Yud,
Yadubihi sa vyarudhyata.
the kings of Yadu dynasty were all devotees, but there were many powerful demons such as Salva who began to uh, pursue them. At that time, Jarasandha, who was Kamsa's father-in-law, was extremely powerful, and therefore Krishna took advantage of his protection and the help of the demons in pur- pursuing the king of the Yadu dynasty. The demons naturally appeared more powerful than demigods, but ultimately, because of help received from Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons were defeated and demigods are
Triumphant.
triumphant.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is the beginning. Sukadeva Goswami said, under the protection of Magadhraj, Jarasan, the powerful Kamsa began persecuting the kings of the Yadu dynasty. In this, he had the cooperation of demons like Pralamba, Baka, Chanura, Trinavarta, Agasur, Mushtika, Arishta, Dvivida, Putana, Keshi, Dhenuka, Banasur, Narakasur, and many other demoniac kings on the surface of the earth. So, what exactly is happening here? Kamsa is persecuting the members of the Yadu dynasty. And to do this, he's taking the help of his demoniac associates. like all these demons, Rakshasas, Pralamba, Baka, Chanura, like this. He is persecuting Yadus. Why is he persecuting Yadus? Because he heard from Narad Muni that the demigods have already taken birth in the Yadu dynasty. Not only Yadu dynasty, but also Vrishni dynasty and others. So specifically the Yadu dynasty, because in the Yadu dynasty, Lord Vishnu is going to appear. Why is Kamsa so concerned that the demigods will appear? What is his fear? Because he's a demon. Demons are always afraid of demigods. He is of Rakshasa Pravritti. His demoniac nature. All his friends and associates are also demons. So when he heard that the demigods have appeared, he is fearful. On top of this, he also heard that the on top of this, he also heard that he was Kalanemi in his previous birth and he was killed by Lord Vishnu. And that Lord Vishnu is going to appear now to kill, to reduce the burden of the earth. Narad Muni said he heard this in a meeting of the demigods where Lord Brahma was telling them. So the demigods have already appeared and Lord Vishnu is soon going to appear and he's going to kill all the demons. Kamsa was a demon himself, so he was fearful. So because he was a demon and he came to know that all the members of Yadu dynasty are actually demigods, he started persecuting them. Yes, Mataji, Nilamri Radha Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, persecuting means here he imprisoned them. He imprisoned them all.
Yeah, harassing them, imprisoning them. Persecuting means to harass people. Yeah, punishing them and torturing them, and maybe some people he imprisoned, but maybe even killing them. So out of fear, we will see in the next few verses, because he was so. It's like Hiranyakashipu. When Hiranyakashipu came into power, what did he do? Either you submit to him, or either you are his man, or you become his enemy. So as long as you are faithful to the Supreme Lord, he will see you as his enemy. And then he was actually imprisoning and torturing people. Sadhus, devotees, he was actually torturing. Hiranyakashipu was doing. So what exactly Kamsa did, I'm not clear on that. But persecution means harassing and torturing. He was torturing them. Maybe he was arresting them. That's why out of fear they were running here and there. They go to other neighboring kingdoms for shelter because they couldn't live here. But some of them actually, some of them actually um, surrendered. Surrendered means they didn't surrender, but they were waiting for Krishna to appear, and they wanted to see Krishna come and kill Kamsa. He's certainly going to come. So they stayed there and they acted like they were serving him. So some people did that. So if you do that, then you can live there. But if you are continuing your, your obedience to Lord Vishnu, then you would be tortured. So that's what persecuting is. He could have been even arresting them like he did Ugrasen Maharaj and others. So it is possible.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Okay. So in the purport, why the Lord appears is being said. So all this, the shloka is saying that, the shloka is saying, the shloka is saying that Kamsa began to persecute. And the purport is saying why the Lord appears. So that means, Abhyutanam adharmasya, when adharma increases, the Lord appears. Kamsa is persecuting the devotees of the Lord. Then, why the Lord comes? Paritranaya sadhunam. So his devotees were being persecuted, were being harassed and tortured by Kamsa. And in a very helpless state, they are calling out to the Supreme Lord. So this is the right situation for the Lord to come. Vinashaya cha dushkritam, and those who are actually harassing the devotees, the Lord comes to punish them, to kill them. And of course, he will re-establish his devotees as the rulers, right? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. So who can actually enforce dharma, religious principles in society. So therefore, you need a Rajarshi as the ruler who can actually uh, help the society to follow dharma so that they can progress in their spiritual life. If you have a king, a demon in power, then he will not guide the people on dharma. Rather, he will be the cause for everyone's gliding down to hell, falling down to hell. So, yeah, whenever there is a rise in irreligion and when there's a decline of religious practices and a rise of irreligion, then the Lord says He Himself will come and He will deliver the devotees and He will annihilate the miscreants or the demons and He will re-establish religious principles. How He will do? He says, I will come myself millennium after millennium. So once again, what is the purpose of this material creation? Right? Why the Lord has to come to establish dharma? What is the result of following dharma? Is the result of following dharma just so that you can have a nice peaceful life here and you can enjoy life, right? You can have a long life and you live in prosperity and everyone has good health, and then that's the goal. Is that the goal of following morality in this world? In today's society, what is the philosophy? What is the reason for following dharma or morality? Why should one follow morality? It's very, very superficial. You follow morality so that it is peaceful for everyone, and then everyone in the end will peacefully die, and that's the end of everything. That's why when there is godlessness, morality will not appeal to people. If you look at society all over the world, uh, you know, if not some decades, but if you take a century or two ago, all over the world, there was a sense of dharma and God consciousness. There was fear of God anywhere in the world, not just in India. All over the world, people had this fear of God, at least, if not love of God, at least there was fear of God. I have to follow dharma because I'm answerable to a higher authority. So there was a sense of God consciousness. Then people were following dharma. And in today's society, that is absent. Then what is the impetus for people to follow dharma? Why should we be truthful? Why should we be responsible? And why should we not cheat? If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in rebirth, I can act in whichever way I like, isn't it? I can act in whichever way I like. So there is no impetus for following dharma. So God consciousness is essential. So the Lord's purpose of maintaining this whole material world is to so then what is the goal of dharma then? Okay, so people are following dharma. What are you supposed to achieve by following dharma? What is the plan? The plan is to make everyone, by following dharma, you become God conscious. You become obedient to the Supreme Lord. And what will happen if you become God conscious? You'll come back to your constitutional position, which is being a servant of the Supreme Lord. That's what is required. Whatever activities we do, by those activities, if the Supreme Lord is satisfied, That is the perfection of our action. That is dharma. That is dharma. And specifically, the details of dharma are also given. What is dharma for each person according to his nature, according to the work that he performs? Then he is designated as either a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, or a woman. Each one has his particular dharma to be followed. What is the result of following a particular dharma? You will become, if you please by your dharma, if you are able to satisfy the Supreme Lord, that is the perfection of following dharma. What will happen if the Lord is satisfied with you? If the Lord is satisfied with you, your life is perfect. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Samsiddhi, that is the perfection. The perfection of your life is if the Lord is pleased by your activities. And what if you're doing those activities specifically to please the Lord? The whole purpose of your activity, whatever you're doing, is only to please the Lord. Then that is bhakti. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Right? Don't have any other desire save and except pleasing the Lord. That is bhakti. So, this is the plan of creating this material world. The Lord's purpose in maintaining, and for this, whenever there are some, this is the nature of time. Sakale neha mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa, Krishna says. This is the nature in this material world. As time passes, things start dwindling, just like our bodies, right? As time passes, the body starts decaying, it starts falling apart. Like that, everything in this world, even our memory, right? We learn something, and if you are not keeping in touch with that subject over a period of time, all that becomes, there's rusted, right? It's not clear. You have to keep it fresh by revising it from time to time. So that's the nature of things in the material world. With the passage of times, things starts uh, degrading. People forget, and then there's also, you know, other things come up, just like weeds. Weeds look just like the actual crop, but in reality they are weeds. Like that, other, apadharmas, apasiddhantas start coming up. They're actually not dharma, but they are appearing like dharma. So many religious faiths come, but there is no point of God consciousness there. But externally, it's a religion or it's a faith that you're following without God. So many philosophies come up. So, this is the nature of time in this material world. Things start dwindling. Then, once again, the Lord appears. Why he appears? To re-establish the principles of Dharma. Why? Because Dharma is essential for us to rise from this fallen condition to our constitutional position. We have to follow Dharma. We have to follow Dharma. If you are able to directly surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in bhakti, that's the highest. But how many people are able to do that? For the general mass of people, they must follow Dharma. And Dharma means specifically Varnashrama Dharma. By following this Dharma, one can gradually can be elevated from his conditioned state to the liberated state. That's the purpose. Okay, so the Lord's purpose in maintaining this material world is to give everyone a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. But kings and political leaders unfortunately try to hinder the purpose of the Lord. So the Lord appears either personally or with his plenary portions to set things right. That's why the Lord appears. So that's what is happening here, isn't it? Kamsa is a king. By force, he became a king. And then he is hindering the purpose of the Lord. He is torturing, persecuting the devotees. The devotees are doing what all living entities are supposed to do. They are engaged in loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And these upstart kings come to torture them, to stop them from rendering devotional service, which is the goal of life. That under those circumstances, the Lord himself comes. Either he himself comes or he comes as his plenary portions to set things right. So for this, the Lord appeared in the womb of Devaki as Baladev. So this is first 6 babies were killed by Kamsa. So the 7th baby was a plenary expansion of the Supreme Lord, Baladev. And he appeared in the womb of Devaki. So this verse is saying, Garbham sancharya rohinyam devakya yogamayaya tasyaha kukshim gatah krishno dvitiyo vibudhai stutaha. Krishna appeared in the womb of Devaki after transfer. So first Baladev appeared, then Lord Krishna ordered Yogamaya to. So this will come in the next verses. Prabhupada tells this ahead in the purport. So the baby was transferred. Baladev was transferred from the womb of Devaki to Rohini, so that now Krishna can come. So there's actually a lot of commentary on this about Lord Baladev's coming, but when we come to that verse, we can discuss why Lord Baladev came before Krishna. So, but Krishna appeared after Lord Baladev was transferred, and Baladev was transferred by the power of Yogamaya. Okay? Krishna ordered Yogamaya to transfer Baladev from Devaki to Rohini. So not only Kamsa, because Kamsa had all these friends, demonic friends. We saw Pralamba, Baka, Chanura, Jarasan, Shalva, like this. So they were combining with Kamsa, they all started persecuting the members of the Yadu dynasty. And Jarasan, who fought with Krishna 17 times, and of course he was defeated every time. And he had his daughters, 2 daughters were married to Kamsa. So Jarasan was the father-in-law of Kamsa. Kamsa took advantage of Jarasandha, who was extremely powerful. Can you imagine? Every time he would gather so many Akshauhinis of Sena, all the demoniac kings on the earth, he would gather and he would come and he would attack Mathura. And Krishna would kill all those kings and just leave Jarasandha alive and send him back, so that he will go and he will gather more demons. And like this 17 times, Jarasandha went and gathered all the demons from the earth and attacked Krishna. And Krishna killed those and let Jarasandha live. He let him go. Defeated Jarasandha but didn't kill him. So this Jarasandha was extremely powerful. Kamsa took advantage of Jarasandha's protection, and he persecuted the Yadu dynasty, the members of the Yadu dynasty. Yes, one more thing is, often there's a question that, we see that those who are demoniac people, they are actually, very successful in life, but those who are simple devotees, they are suffering. Why does this happen? Many times this question rises. Actually, it is temporary. Even if it appears like the demons are flourishing at present, it's just a flash. Ultimate victory is going to be for the devotees, right? Always. History is the proof. You see in Ramayana, you see in Mahabharata, the Pandavas, how they had to suffer. But the ultimate victory was for the Pandavas. Similarly, in Ramayana also, Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi, Jatayu was killed. So much suffering, right, for the devotees. But ultimately, the Lord and his devotees, they come out victorious. So let's read, okay, there's just translation, so we can just read. We'll discuss later on. So, Sonia Mataji read. So next, Nilambari Mataji, you can read. Te pidita nivivishuhu कुरु पञ्चालकेकयान् शाल्वान् विदर्भान् निषधान् विदेहान् कोशलानपि. Nilambari Radha Mataji.
Translation. Persecuted by the demoniac king, the Yadavas left their own kingdom and entered various others, like those of the Kurus, Panchalas, Kaikayas, Shalvas, Vidarbhas, Nishadas, Videhas, and Kushalas. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So these were the neighboring kingdoms ruled by other kings or dynasties. This is not Yadu dynasty. So the Yadu dynasty kings were being tortured by Kamsa. So they left their own kingdom and entered various other kingdoms like refugees. They were taking shelter. What were these kingdoms? Kurus, like Hastinapur. Panchalas, like Drupad Maharaj. Then Kekayas, Shalvas, Vidarbha. Vidarbha means Rukminiji's place, Bhishmaka. And then Nishadas, Videhas. Videha is like Mithila. And Koshalas, like this. They took shelter in other neighboring kingdoms. एकेतम् अनुरुन्धान ज्ञातयः पर्युपासते हतेषु षट्सु बालेषु देवक्या औग्रसेनिना सप्तमो वैष्णवं धाम यम् अनन्तं प्रचक्षते गर्भो बभूव देवक्या हर्षशोकाविवर्धनः. Translation. So, Saujanya Mataji.
Mataji, I'm driving, but Prajna can read.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Some of the relatives, however, began to follow Kamsa's principles and act in his service. After Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, killed the 6 sons of Devaki, the plenary portion of Krishna entered her womb as her 7th child, arousing her pleasure and her lamentation. The plenary portion is celebrated by great sages such as Ananta, who belongs to Krishna's second quadruple expansion.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So, many kings of the Yadu dynasty took shelter of other kingdoms, but some relatives, they remained, and they remained in, in their own kingdom, like in Shurasena and Mathura. They remained there and began to follow Kamsa's principles. So they became Kamsa's servants, at least externally. They began to act in his service, following his principles. So then Kamsa had arrested Ugrasena and arrested Devaki and Vasudev, and Devaki was giving birth to a child each year. Kamsa killed one after another, 6 babies. Now for the 7th time, Devaki was pregnant. And who was the embryo? Who was the baby in her womb? The 7th child was actually Lord Ananta, a plenary portion of Krishna, Lord Ananta or Lord Balaram. And when Devaki became pregnant, what was her what were her feelings? She was very pleased because the Supreme Lord is in her womb. She was, because the Supreme Lord is Satchidananda Vigraha, right? Ananda. So anyone who comes in touch with him, he has to become blissful. So she's feeling great pleasure, but at the same time, she's feeling lamentation. She could feel that, the Supreme Lord, there's a special baby there. But at the same time, there's lamentation. Why there is lamentation? Because like the others, Kamsa will kill this one also. Then why she could not think that if he's the Supreme Lord, then I don't have to fear that he'll be killed. How can anyone kill the Supreme Lord? Because of the affection, parental affection, Vatsalya Rasa. It's very powerful. That Vatsalya Rasa overshadows the Aishwarya Gyan. What is the Aishwarya Gyan? He's the Supreme Lord. He's the Lord of everyone. He's the supreme control. He's the master, right? Nobody can harm him in any way. That's the Aishwarya Jnanam. But that Aishwarya Gyan is covered by the Vatsalya Rasa or Vatsalya Bhava of Devaki. So therefore she was lamenting that, oh, like the others, this child is also going to be killed like that. So she simultaneously, like bittersweet, she's experiencing pleasure because of this pregnancy, but at the same time she was experiencing lamentation. That plenary portion is celebrated by great sages as Ananta, who belongs to Krishna's second quadruple expansion. So Ananta is Krishna's second quadruple expansion. So Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna is in the in Golok Vrindavan, Krishna Loka also there is Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna. That's the first quadruple expansion. And from the Sankarshan of that, there's Narayan, that's in Vaikuntha next. And in Vaikuntha, again from Narayan, there's second quadruple expansion. So the expansion of this Sankarshan in Vaikuntha is Ananta. So Ananta belongs to Krishna's second quadruple expansion. Okay. So purport. So Mataji, you're not able to read, right? Saujanya Mataji?
No, Mataji.
Okay. So Isha Krishna Shish Madhava Rasapriya. You can read.
Perfectly devotee, such as Akrura, stayed with Kamsa to satisfy him. This period was very expensive. They all expected the Supreme Personality of God to appear as the sky, as soon as the other children were killed by Kamsa, and they were eagerly awaiting his appearance. By remaining in Kamsa's assistance, they would be able to see the Supreme Personality of God.
Mataji can't hear, Mataji.
His godson. And Akrura would later go to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. The word Paripatite is significant because it indicates that some devotees wanted to stay near Kamsa in order to see all these aspects of the Lord. The 6 children killed by Kamsa had formerly been sons of Devi, but because of having been first by Balaram, they were obliged to take birth as grandsons of their Kamsa had taken birth as Palamine, and now he was obliged to kill his own son. This was a mystery. As soon as the sons of Devaki were killed, they would return to their original state. The devotees wanted to see this also. Generally speaking, no one kills his own nephew, but Kamsa was so clear that he did so without hesitation. Ananta Sankashna belongs to the second Chaturvyuha, or quadruple expansion. This is the opinion of experienced commentators.
Okay. So one question that arises here is, why did some relatives, some kings of Yadu remain with Kamsa even though he was torturing? So to escape his torture, what did they do? They acted like they were his servants, right? Like it's as if they've changed their parties, right? Now they have become obedient to Kamsa, they have taken his service, now they've become his men. That was the only way they could actually live under Kamsa. They couldn't live with their obedience to the Supreme Lord as a devotee, they couldn't live there. He would have tortured them. So they appeared like they had taken to his side, now they were serving him. Why would they do that? We know that they're all devotees. Already we read Yadoscha Dharma Shilasya, right? Why would they go and serve a demon? The reason is they wanted to see, they knew Krishna is going to come, and they wanted to, their greed for seeing Krishna was so intense, they wanted to stay there so that they could witness Krishna's appearance and Krishna's childhood pastimes, and also Krishna's coming and killing Kamsa, because that's the Akashvani, that's the prophecy. The 8th child of Devaki is actually going to kill Kamsa. So they just stayed there, right, serving Kamsa. So who are they? One name is Akrura. So there were others like that who stayed there with Kamsa, but waiting for Krishna to come. So that's one reason. And also the 6 sons, right, that were killed by Kamsa, So Kamsa started his atrocities as soon as he arrested Vasudev Devaki and Ugrasen. It's not that after the 6 babies were killed, then he started. He already started. But they remained because, this is also history that the 6, Narad Muni revealed it, isn't it? Narad Muni revealed to Kamsa that you are Kalanemi in your past life. So then the whole history comes out. Who is Kalanemi and why he killed his sons, right? So that Kalanemi appeared as Kamsa and his 6 sons now appeared as Devaki's sons and he's going to kill them. And who were these 6 sons originally? They were originally the sons of Marichi or the sons of Marichi. Marichi is the son of Lord Brahma. So they laughed at Lord Brahma for not just laughed, they actually started shouting at Lord Brahma and condemning his activity that he's running after his daughter. What is this? So that was they were blaspheming. So that was an offense. So because of that offense, they were cursed to take birth as the sons of in Asura family, as the sons of Kalanemi. Kalanemi is the son of Hiranyakashipu. And not in one life. And the next life they would take birth as the sons of Devaki. Once again, they would be killed by Kalanemi, who would come as Kamsa. So this history was known. And then after that, after they get killed by Kamsa, now they will go back to their original position. Once again, they become the sons of Marichi. They'll go back and they'll resume their duties. So these members wanted to see that also happen. How they are going to be delivered. So you can look at it from both sides. On one hand, you can see they're going to be killed and little babies. It is such a horrible scene. But they're going to be killed means they're going to be delivered. They will go back to their position. Right? Just like the Vasus were drowned by Ganga Devi. So it appeared horrible to the father, Shantanu Maharaj. He said, what is this? What kind of a mother you are? Newborn baby, you have no motherly affection, you're drowning them. But actually what Ganga Devi was doing was, she was delivering them. They would go back to their position as Vasus once again to resume their duties. They didn't have to go through birth and death in this Martya Loka, right? On the earth planet. They didn't have to live here. Because human beings are certainly on a lower level than the demigods. So that was actually delivering, although it appeared horrible that they were being murdered. So same with these 6 babies also. So how they would once again go back, right? That also. So when there is some, important event going on, people want to be present there to witness it, right? Important in what sense? Especially when it is a universal event that it's an event that the whole universe is looking forward to. What if the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, is coming? They want to be there to witness that. So some of these kings or members of Yadu dynasty stayed back, apparently uh, taking the service, right? Being on the side of Kamsa, like that. Of course, then we hear about Kamsa. You see, there was one verse in the first chapter we read. What is it that a saintly person will not tolerate? He can tolerate any amount of pain. What is it that a learned man, uh, right, a learned man, what is it that a learned man can expect in order to perform his duties? That means he won't wait for any favorable conditions to execute his duties, whether favorable or unfavorable, right? Sukhe dukhe, labha labha, jaya jaya. It doesn't matter. Under all circumstances, he will do his duty, right? Happiness or distress, victory or defeat, loss or gain, it does not matter. He will continue his duty. Who? A learned person. So is he waiting for any favorable conditions? No. So in that verse only it is said, what is it that a low-born person will not do? Is there any type of sin that a low-born person will not do? No, there is no sin. He can fall to any depths, any level. He can fall down simply for his sense gratification. So Kamsa falls in that category. He can even kill his own nephews. He won't even think about it. Newborn babies, no mercy. And of course, the last one is, what is it that a devotee will not sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord? So like that, here Kamsa, ordinarily you'd think that who would kill his own nephews? Because a nephew is as good as one's son. We saw also in one verse that if there is no father, or if the uncle does not have any sons of his own, then all his property will be inherited by his nephew. So the nephew is second son. So how Kamsa was able to kill his sons, right, the nephews, without any hesitation? Yes, he can do it because he is so cruel. He is a asura. And of course, Ananta is uh, he belongs to the second Chaturvyuha. Okay, so maybe we can stop here because there's a big purport, and again we'll have to discuss that. So Krishna Shish can start reading tomorrow. Krishna Shish, then Madhava and Rasapriya. Let's read Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 37. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayah. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Yes, so this is the conclusion of this section. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planet, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Purport: even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjun's side, still there is no loss. That's the point. Yeah, there's no certainty that you will win, but even if you die, you're not a loser. That's the point. Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjun's side, he still had to fight, for even after being killed there, he would be elevated into the heavenly planets. So one thing that we should see here is the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So you will see various stages of yoga given in this second chapter. So first, Krishna explains to Arjun on the Sankhya philosophy or Jnana, right? You're not this body, you're a spirit soul. The spirit soul has no death. The body is certain to come to an end. So the spirit soul, your father, your grandfather, your teacher, and all your brothers and relatives and friends, they're all spirit souls. There's no death for them. Don't think that by your killing them, they're going to be finished. No, they won't be finished. And even if you didn't kill them, thinking that they will live, they will die anyway because the body has to die. But they will die anyway. So what you're desiring for them that they should live, that's not going to happen. It's just a matter of time, right? You may kill them today or they may die after 10 years. But eventually everyone is going to die. But at the same time, so that is there. So don't give up your duty as a kshatriya. So that's the next. So it just continues from there. So then, okay, it's okay, let them live for some time. If Arjun says like that, No, but meanwhile you're going to incur sins. So that's the next section. You have to do your duty. What is your duty? You're a Kshatriya, Dharma. You have to follow your Dharma. Because if you don't follow your Dharma, you'll fall down to hell. Everyone has to do his Dharma. Without following Dharma, you'll go down, you'll glide down. By following Dharma, you'll make progress. By not following Dharma, you'll fall down. And then, oh, I'll be, how will I enjoy life without them? They'll all be dead. I'll become so sad. I cannot live on this world without my family members and relatives. Then, no, it's not like you will not enjoy. So that's this verse. This is the second section. Second section is from text 31 to 37. Okay, so text 11 to 30 is talking on Jnana Yoga. Then 31 to 37 is talking on enjoyment. Do your duty. By doing your duty, you will enjoy. You are a Kshatriya, you fight. And when you fight, and if you get killed, you'll go to heaven. And when you go to heaven, you'll enjoy there. And if you don't die, if you kill your enemy instead, then you'll kill your enemy, you'll take their kingdom, and you'll enjoy as the king on this earth. For a Kshatriya, it's a win-win situation when there is Dharma Yuddha. Because there's only two outcomes in a battle. There's no question of defeating the enemy and the enemy, becomes a slave or something. No. They fight. Kshatriya means they will fight until death. Either you die or you defeat your enemy. There's only two outcomes in a Kshatriya battle. So either you will defeat your enemy and you'll take the kingdom and you'll enjoy this earth, or because there's no guarantee that I will only defeat. They may defeat me. They may kill me. Yeah, no problem. Still, you're a winner. Even if you die, after you die, this is not the end of everything. You're a spirit soul still, right? So you give up this body and then you go to Swarga. You'll enjoy heavenly opulence there. It's a win-win situation. So don't desist from fighting. You fight. So this verse that we read today is the conclusion of this second section, where you do your duty. By doing your duty, you are not a loser. You will enjoy material enjoyment. Yes, you'll get. By doing your duty, you'll get all prosperity and everything you want. By not doing your duty, you won't get. You'll go to hell and you will suffer. But by doing your duty, you won't be a loser. Do your duty. And then next verse leads to the next section, that this is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga means you do your duty without expecting the result, because this will lead to liberation. You'll transcend this material existence. You'll get out of the cycle of birth and death. So that is the next section which will begin. That section is called Buddhi Yoga. That will start in the next verse. But today's verse is, if you're killed, you'll get heavenly planets. And if you defeat your enemy, conquer your enemy, you'll enjoy this earthly kingdom. So there's no reason for you to not fight. Get up and fight. It's good for you both ways when you fight. Yeah. And let's reach the Prabhupada's Leelamrita and we will end today's session. Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. Yes, Srila Prabhupada is here on 26 Second Avenue, and he's giving classes 3 days a week in the evenings. And also those who are coming, right, some of them would even sleep at night in the storefront. It's not that they're following regulative principles or chanting while they're there, right? They have to follow. but they get prasadam there, and during the day they just go out and do whatever they do, like that. And but Srila Prabhupada had no source of income, right? Sometimes some people would bring some apples or something, and you know, like that. But he didn't have uh, any source of income, even to pay his bills or anything. But he continued sitting in his room and translating Srimad Bhagavatam, like that. And here it is said he especially worked in the very early hours of the morning when he would not be interrupted, writing the purports, Bhaktivedanta purports. And he had no means or immediate plans for financing the publishing of further volumes. He's just writing, but he doesn't know how he's going to publish them. Still, with faith in Krishna, he continued his service. He had a broad mission, broader even than translating Srimad Bhagavatam, and so he gave much of his time and energy to meeting visitors. Had his only aim been to write, then there would have been no need to have taken the risk and trouble of coming to America. Now many people were coming, and an important part of his mission was to talk to them and convince them of Krishna consciousness. His visitors were usually young men who had recently come to live on the Lower East Side. He had no secretary to screen his visitors, nor did he have scheduled visiting hours. Whenever anyone happened by at any time, from early morning to 10 at night, Prabhupada would stop his typing or translating and speak with them. It was an open neighborhood, and many visitors would come by right off the street. Some were serious, but many were not. Some even came intoxicated. Often they came not to inquire submissively, but to challenge. Once a young hippie on an LSD trip found his way upstairs and sat opposite the Swami. Right now, I am higher than you are, he announced. I am God. Prabhupada bowed his head slightly, his palms folded. Please accept my obeisances, he said. Then he asked God to please leave. Others admitted frankly that they were crazy or haunted by ghosts and sought relief from their mental suffering. So, this is Lon Solomon. I was looking for spiritual centers, places where one can go, not like stores where they ask you to leave, but where you can actually talk to people and try to understand the ultimate truth. I would come to the Swamis knowing it was definitely a spiritual center. There was definitely something there. I was on drugs and disturbed with the notion that I must be God or some very important personality way out of proportion to my actual situation. I was actually in trouble, mentally deranged because of so much suffering, and I would kind of blow in to see him whenever I felt the whim to do so. I did make a point of going to his meetings, but a lot of times I would just come. One time I came and spent the night there. I was always welcome at any time to sleep in the storefront. I wanted to show the Swami what a sad case I was, so he should definitely do something for me. He told me to join him and he could solve my problems, but I was not ready. I was really into sex and I wanted to know what he meant by illicit sex. What was his definition? He said to me, this means sex outside of marriage. But I wasn't satisfied with the answer, and I asked him for more details. He told me to first consider the answer he had given me and then come back the next day and he would tell me more. Then I showed up with a girl. The Swami came to the door and said, I am very busy. I have my work. I have my translating. I cannot talk with you now. Well, that was the only time he didn't offer me full hospitality and full attention and talk with me as many questions as I had. So I left immediately with the girl. He was correct in his perception that I was simply going to see him just to try to impress the girl. He saw through it right away, and he rejected that type of association. But every time I came, I was in trouble, and he always helped me. That's important, huh? That's very interesting. Like our motive is very important. However fallen we may be, is not a problem. But if we are genuinely seeking help, then Srila Prabhupada would stop all his work, his important translating work at any time of the day, or up to 10 in the night. At any time he would come, and as many questions the person may have, Srila Prabhupada would talk. But if you're coming there just to impress someone, or for some other ulterior motive with no sincerity, then he rejected that. So we'll stop there. Thank you all very much. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.